to clip the Angels' wings in a fat AL West matchup. What's a SportsCenter show without a look at McGuire and Sosa? The Mets close out a wild series with a wild game with the Stros. The Rocket makes another pitch to the Cy Young voters. The Lions make a huge change in the quarterbacking department.
They made me an offer I can't refuse.
Pavel's absence isn't making the Canucks' hearts grow fonder. Hey, watch where you're going. And keep your head in the game. SportsCenter right about now. Hi again, SportsCenter bringing it. Alongside Rich Eisen, I'm Stuart Scott.
Coming up, a new quarterback will get the lion's share of the snaps in Detroit. The Angels and Rangers do battle atop the West, and lost amongst the history makers, the home run tears of Mike Piazza and Manny Ramirez. But first, Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy, who had been handcuffed by Padre pitching in the first two games of the Cubs-Padres series. It's a personal choice. Remain fiercely loyal to your team that's won a franchise best 97 games and is battling Atlanta for the NL's best mark, or forget etiquette, root for the other guy. Tough choice for Padre fans facing Sammy Sosa. One young fan stammered, he's like, I'm one of his fans. Another old head was old school. I don't want Sosa to hit one. Not against the Padres, not here. Sosa just 1 for 9 with 6 Ks in the series. Cubs a half-game wild card lead over the Mets headed in. For the second night in a row, they're trying to make Sammy feel at home. Top one against Joey Hamilton with Lance Johnson in first. Sosa doing work. Hard grounder by Caminetti. Ruled a single. Sosa 3 for 5 on the day to raise his average to 313. We'll have more, and guys, just please be patient. Top 3, Sammy against Hamilton. Deep to right, but not deep enough. Tony Gwynn hauls it in. Top 7, no score. Bases loaded for Sosa. Already with 3 home runs off Hamilton this season. Sosa, no homer. With Sammy, it is your world, kid. The rest of us just paying rent. Scores Lance Johnson, Terry Mulholland. Sammy has said, hey, I have 62 homers now. It's good enough for me. Now I got to help my team to the playoffs. Cubs take a 2-zip lead. Bottom 7, Carlos Hernandez, no doubt. Number 9 on the year for his career against the Cubs. Hernandez hitting .359. We're tied at 2. Top 8, 2-2. Bases loaded for Sammy Sosa facing Brian Boehringer. Look out.
1-0 count, 2 down. Sosa waiting. Swung on! Deep! Art McGuire! You got company! 63! Grand slam home run! Sammy Sosa!
Sammy Sosa, his 3rd grand slam in his last 34 home runs. He went 246 career home runs without a grand slam. 63 of the year, 154 RBI to take over the RBI lead away from Juan Gonzalez. And you know Sammy's going to come out for the curtain call. Even from the opposing team, unbelievable. He is now tied with Mark McGuire, 63 home runs for the year. Ironically, Cubs win it 6-3.
That is ironic.
That's very ironic. In this game, Terry Mulholland went 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks in the game. Lance Johnson 2 for 4 with a couple of runs. Sosa joins Gonzalez as the first pair to reach 150 RBI since Ted Williams and Vern Stevens did it in 1949. His 154 RBI tied for the 4th best single-season total in league history with Joe Medwick, who did it for the Cardinals in 1937. After the game, Sammy Sosa talked with our Joe Morgan about home runs and pennant races.
Sammy, number 63, the final score is 6-3. How ironic.
Well, you know, that situation right there, I had that situation before, and I went to the home plate trying to make contact, and I hit a double, 2 RBI the first time. The second time I say the same way. I'm not thinking about home run. I want to make contact because the situation that I am, I cannot thinking about home run.
Well, I think you showed what you're made of as far as the team is concerned. When you had the bases loaded, a 2-0 count, you could have let it all go and try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Instead, you ripped the double to drive in 2 runs. That shows what you think about this Cubs team.
Well, definitely. I think that, you know, I have 62, 63. You know, it's pretty good for me. I mean, now I want to take my team to the, to the playoff, and hey, right now I feel great. I think that, that game tonight was unbelievable. That's the way we're supposed to be playing the game.
Congratulations, Sam, and good luck the rest of the way.
The Mets continue a set in the Astrodome, trying to remain a half game back. Top 1, 1st and 3rd one out. Mike Piazza, who's been blowing up with a .438 batting average this month, grounds into the 6-4-3 double play. One of 4 double plays the Mets hit into. Bottom 3, Carl Everett banging. against Bobby Jones. Everett destroyed the hanging curve. 2-run shot. Career high number 15 home run of the year. 2-zip Stros. Top 7. Brian McRae hits a comebacker to Hampton. Loses some cool points and then gets them back. Nice throw to end the inning. Top 9, Mets down 2-zip. Mike Piazza on deck. 2 outs. Billy Wagner facing John Olerud on a 3-2 count. Olerud hums a grounder to Sean Berry. Berry's going to boot the ball. He'd have to leave the game with the hurt finger. They originally ruled it an error. They later changed it to a base hit. Bobby Valentine geeked because his man is coming up. Next batter, Piazza. 2 on, 2 out. Oh, yeah. Opposite field. 3-run shot, 32nd of the year, 200 for his career, 6 homers and 17 RBI this month. Mets lead 3-2. The Astros shell shot. Wagner tells Hampton, my bad. Bottom 9, 1 out. Dennis Cook facing Brad Ausmus. Peace. On the night that Ausmus's childhood next-door neighbor, Derek, is a guest in our ESPN studio, Derek, a Met fan, watches his guy hit his 6th homer of the year. 4 of Ausmus's 6 homers have come in the 7th inning or later. Bottom 10, 2 out, bases loaded. Greg McMichael facing Ricky Gutierrez. He had a 3-0 count on Gutierrez. Fought back to strike him out. Mets get out of a jam. Top 11, Todd Hundley, still available on the bench. He gets his chance. Hundley as the pinch hitter. You not my daddy. The guy who set a catcher record with 41 homers in 96. Had 30 last year. Just his 3rd this year, but a key time. Mets lead 4-3. Piazza gave him his props. Valentine gave him his props. And then Turk Window schooled Russ Johnson. Window struck out the side for the first time all year. Mets win a thriller 4-3 in 11 innings. Mets have won 17 of their last 21 one-run games. John Olerud, 4 for 5, now hitting .345. Window got his 4th save of the year. Giants, Diamondbacks, bottom 5, 3-zip G-men. Oral Hershiser facing Kareem Garcia. Garcia hits it off the former Cy Young winner's foot. Bill Miller, fade, fire, got him. Miller also 4 for 5 at the plate, scoring 2 runs. Bottom 6, Diamondbacks down 4-1. Jay Bell getting jiggy with it. Singles to right. Marvin Bernard tries to throw to third. The ball goes into the dugout. 3-run score. Bell, 64 RBI this year. We're tied at 4. Top 10, Barry Bonds facing Greg Olson. Bonds. Barry Bonds. Shaker. Not stood. Deep to center. Off the wall. Bill Miller scores the go-ahead run. Bonds comes in with his 5th triple of the year. Giants win the game 6-5. JT Snow 2 for 5, 2 runs and an RBI. Giants win for just the 2nd time in 7 games. They're still in that wild card race, but they're still back. How far back? 4.5 games. This is how the day started. Cubs had a half-game lead. Giants 4.5 back. But all 3 teams won, and all 3 teams won in like serious fashion. The Mets off on Thursday before returning home for a 5-game homestand. The Cubs have 1 more in San Diego, then return to Wrigley for their final 3 home games of the season.
There was no scoreboard watching in Texas Wednesday night. No, for the participants involved. The Angels-Rangers contest in Texas was the only game in town, out of town, in suburbia, you name it. It's been the only game all year, in fact. Since June the 3rd, these 2 teams have been separated by no more than 3.5 games. And the last time a team other than the Angels and Rangers led the division outright was at the end of last year when the Mariners finished in first, where the Angels stood by just 1 game going into Texas. The first of 5 games in 8 days between these 2. Game 1 seen on ESPN. Chuck Finley against Will Clark. Solo shot for Will, the thrill, 23rd of the season, 1-0 Rangers in the 2nd inning. Same inning, same score for Royce Clayton, 2 on, and this is what we in the business call a good piece of hitting. Going the other way, down the line, Pudge Rodriguez, Mike Sims come on down, a double for Clayton, 3-0 Texas, and then Clayton would steal third. Mark McLemore walked, and Roberto Kelly runners on the corners. Grounds it to third, and the Angels going to try and go around the horn. But Kelly busting his hump the whole way. Safe. Clayton scores from third, 4-0 Texas. As for Terry Collins, his team, not nearly as much success running the bases. Garrett Anderson off with the pitch in the top of the 4th. Mark Johnson laces it to left. Anderson makes it all the way to third, and he has to be held up there. He can go from first to third all that fast. He would be stranded. Now Pudge Rodriguez in the same situation at first in the bottom of the 5th. Watches Todd Zeal line it to left, and he's coming hard all the way from first, waving him home. Here's the throw, the play at the plate. There's no call at the plate, which means touch the plate. Now there's a call, he's safe. 5-1 Rangers. Top of the 7th. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. Greg Jeffries 3 for 3 at this point. A tough out for Todd Stoudemire. Gets him swinging. Stoudemire's loving. Jeffries bumming. Rangers would go on to win this key contest 5-3. The former Cardinals, who were supposed to help Texas run away with the division, did their part Wednesday. Todd Zeile, 2 for 4, 1 RBI. Royce Clayton, 2 for 4, 2 RBI. And Stoudemire gave up 1 run on 6 hits in 8 innings, striking out 7. The Angels have dropped 6 of 8 and have company atop the division for the first time since August the 14th.
It was one of those pitches where looked like Chuck Finley was trying to come fastball in, and he just left it over the plate a little bit. I was able to get a pretty good piece of it. And, you know, I got to tip my cap to my teammates. They came out there, didn't make it a 1-run inning, made it a multi-run inning, which is always good. And Todd Stoudemire just made it stand up. I mean, he threw the ball unbelievable all night long.
So we have a flat-footed tie atop the American League West with 11 games to go for both teams, 4 of which will be against each other. Texas manager Johnny Oates summed it up best, saying, "We're dead even. It's best of 11. The Tribe could clinch the Central with a win over Minnesota. Bottom of the first, no score against Bob Tewksbury. Manny Ramirez says, "Say hello to my little friend." 433-foot bomb, 4 straight at-bats with a homer. That ties a major league record. He's got 41 on the year. Indians up 3-0. And say hello to Jim Tomei. Back from the disabled list, he's a factor. In his first at-bat, he homers.
He's got a little frame, too.
He does. First since July the 31st, 30th homer of the year. The Indians take a 5-0 lead. Tomei glad to be back. Charles Nagy gets hit by Matt Lawton. Nagy throws him out with his left hand. Trainers checked Nagy in the dugout. He would continue, and Manny Ramirez would continue belting him out. After grounding out in the second, breaking up the homer streak, he starts a new one. 5 homers in his last 6 at-bats. 5 homers in 2 games, ties a major league record as well. The Indians hold on to win 8-6 and clinch the Central Division. And it's time to now, after the hugs, to face left field. That's going to come out of somebody's budget. Oh, actually, that was planned. It's the 4th straight division title for the Indians, who become only the 3rd team to do that since 1969. The 71 through 75 A's and the current Braves being the others. The Indians have some hot Tribe members. Richie Sexson, 11 homers in 42 games. In his last 2 games, Ramirez has 5 homers, 9 RBIs, and 3 curtain calls. And to complete the storybook theme, Tomei comes back from a 5-week absence in time to homer in the division clincher.
You don't get much better than this. I mean, to come back the first night, be able to contribute, you know, celebrate our 4th title. I mean, this is great. But I think a lot of people understand what we have ahead of us. And, you know, for the young guys, it's great because it's their first. You know, a lot of guys in here have been through this 4 times, and it's going to be fun.
Since baseball went to its 6-division format in 1994, the Indians have simply owned the American League Central, winning all 4 possible division titles with a near .600 win percentage. The White Sox are the only other team over .500, but just barely. Remember, Cleveland never won a division title in the American League East as a member from 1969 to 93. Football now. Alert the parade committee because it could be a banner weekend for the folks in Ypsilanti, Michigan. On Saturday, the Eastern Michigan Eagles take the 10-minute drive to Ann Arbor to take on
Coming up next, the Sixers must come up with answers or stay home for the summer. The young Blazers might be all that jazz, while the Stars try to stave off an avalanche. De La Hoya causes a car crash in Vegas. Mac attacks the ozone layer in L.A. with an historic shot. Mia makes her bid to stand alone, and Pete has Paris on his mind.
I've come to the conclusion that if I'm going to win there, I need to be more aggressive. You know, I need to come in more. If I'm not going to win, you know, playing like a Corretcher or Moya, I need to come in and use my serve.
This is SportsCenter.
Again, Chris McHenry and Jack Edwards with you for the next hour until Busch Grand National Racing takes over at noon on ESPN.
There could be darkness at noon for the Sixers. Time is the most valuable commodity, especially time to rest in this relay race of an NBA season. The 1983 Philadelphia 76ers didn't quite go faux as Moses Malone had predicted, but in 1 game over the minimum, their well-rested bunch beat up all comers en route to the NBA title. A new Philly crew is on the opposite end of the beating right now.